What if the most terrifying creature in From isn't actually the man in yellow? What if the real nightmare has been standing right in front of us this entire time, smiling? Because after 4 seasons of mysteries, monsters, and horrifying revelations, Smiley remains one of the most fascinating characters in the entire show. We know he's dangerous. We know he's nearly impossible to kill. But the biggest questions still remain unanswered. Where did Smiley come from? Why does he seem different from the other creatures? And has the show already revealed the secret to defeating him without us realizing it? Hey, what's up everyone? Come back to Breakdown Epic. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. When people talk about the monsters in From, Smiley is usually the first one that comes to mind. And honestly, it's easy to see why. Unlike many of the other creatures, there's something deeply unsettling about him. He doesn't look aggressive. He doesn't look angry. He doesn't even look like he's in a rush. He just smiles, and somehow that makes him even more terrifying. But to understand why Smiley matters so much, we need to go back to the possible origins of the town itself.
Because personally, I don't think Smiley is just another monster. I think he's connected to the very beginning of whatever happened in this place. One thing the show has quietly suggested over the years is that the town is far older than it appears. Sure, there are buildings that look like they belong in the 1950s and 60s, but then you have ancient structures, old ruins, stone buildings, locations that clearly existed long before modern America. And that's where things get interesting. Because if the town itself has existed for centuries, then the monsters might have as well. In fact, my theory is that Smiley may actually be one of the original residents. Think about it. Recent revelations have pointed toward the idea that the monsters were once human, normal people who made a terrible choice, a deal that promised something they desperately wanted, immortality. But instead of receiving a blessing, they became trapped in an endless nightmare. And if that's true, Smiley may have been there from the very beginning, not as a monster, as a person who believed he was saving himself, only to become something far worse. And honestly, that's what makes his character so disturbing, because beneath the monster could be someone who made one catastrophic mistake centuries ago.
Now, obviously, the show hasn't confirmed exactly when this happened, but if the original settlement existed hundreds of years ago, there may have been a reason people were willing to accept such a dangerous bargain. Fear, desperation, survival. History is full of moments where people facing death would do almost anything for another chance at life. And that's exactly why this theory makes sense to me. The creatures don't behave like random monsters. They feel like cursed people. People who lost their humanity a very long time ago. And Smiley may simply be the most recognizable example. But here's where the mystery gets even deeper. If Smiley really is immortal, then how did Boyd kill him? Because for a brief moment, it looked like the impossible had happened. The creature everyone feared was finally gone. But then the show pulled off one of its biggest twists. He came back. Different form, same monster, same threat. And that completely changed how we look at his weaknesses. At first, it seemed like Boyd had discovered the answer. The bloodworms destroyed Smiley's body and temporarily ended his reign of terror. But what if that wasn't actually a permanent victory? What if all Boyd did was destroy one version of Smiley? Because that's what the evidence suggests. The body died, the creature didn't. And that's a huge difference, which means Smiley's greatest power might also be his most terrifying one.
He always finds a way back. Now, that's not to say he has no weaknesses. In fact, the show has quietly revealed several limitations. For starters, Smiley follows the same rules as the other creatures. Daylight keeps him away. The talismans still create barriers. And unlike the man in yellow, he doesn't appear capable of bypassing those protections. That detail is actually more important than people realize, because it tells us there are levels to the hierarchy. Not every evil force in this world operates under the same rules, and Smiley clearly has boundaries. But recently, another weakness may have emerged. Fatima. And honestly, I think this could become one of the biggest storylines moving forward, because what we're seeing isn't just a strange connection, it's something much more powerful. Fatima isn't simply sensing Smiley. She's experiencing parts of what he experiences. She's seeing things through his perspective, feeling his presence, and in some cases, even influencing his actions. That last part is what really caught my attention, because if Fatima can affect Smiley from a distance, then for the first time, we may have discovered something capable of disrupting him, not physically, mentally. And that changes everything. Most people focus on weapons, traps, protection. But what if the real key to stopping Smiley isn't fighting him at all? What if it's controlling the connection? Imagine if Fatima learns how to strengthen that link.
Imagine if she gains access to information Smiley doesn't want her to have. Or even worse for him, what if she learns how to manipulate him the same way he influences others? Suddenly the hunter becomes vulnerable, and that's a possibility the show seems to be building toward. But there's another potential weakness that doesn't get discussed enough: the bones. Now, we still don't know exactly why those bones matter, and we definitely don't know everything hidden inside the caves. But if the creature's immortality is connected to ancient rituals or sacrifices, then it's possible those remains are connected to the source of their power. And if that's true, removing them could have consequences. Maybe it weakens the monsters. Maybe it disrupts whatever keeps them alive. Or maybe it triggers something even worse. Honestly, that's the scary part. In From, answers usually create even bigger questions. Now let's talk about Smiley's strengths, because there are a lot of them. Physical damage barely seems to matter. He survives situations that would instantly kill a normal person. Fear doesn't affect him. Pain doesn't slow him down. And perhaps most importantly, he isn't alone. That's a huge advantage. The creatures operate almost like a network. They move together, hunt together,
And appear connected to larger forces within the town, which means even when Smiley acts independently, he's rarely truly isolated. But the most dangerous strength might be psychological, because Smiley doesn't simply kill people, he enjoys terrifying them first. That's what makes him stand out. His smile isn't just creepy, it's a weapon. It creates fear before he even attacks. And fear has always been one of the most powerful forces in From. The town feeds on it, the creatures exploit it, and Smiley understands it better than almost anyone. Which is exactly why he's remained one of the show's most memorable villains, even after the arrival of bigger threats. Even after new mysteries emerged, fans still talk about Smiley, because he's unpredictable, he's disturbing, and despite everything we've learned, he's still a mystery. But maybe that's the point. Maybe Smiley isn't just another monster waiting for a backstory. Maybe he's the living reminder of what happens when people make the wrong choice. And if that's true, then the closer we get to uncovering the truth about the town, the closer we get to uncovering the truth about him as well. But what do you think? Was Smiley one of the original residents of the town? Is Fatima secretly the key to defeating him? And do you think the bones hidden in the caves are connected to the creature's immortality? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more From theories, hidden details, and episode breakdowns. I will catch you in the next one.